Behold, Fashion Frame Fridays. This week we have a small repertoire to cover, but I will cover it in great detail, as always, at a breakneck pace. First of all, we will start with Helios. A little while back, I did a whole Fashion Frame Fridays where I did every Sentinel's cosmetics, so if you want to go check that out, I'll leave that as a suggested video here, but I'll talk about this Helios customization, which I covered in that video. This is meant to be like a washed out, sort of like old technology looking Helios. You have like the stereotypical little yellow computer wire there, a little bit of old looking blue, and I don't know, just like a nice washed out appearance. I think that Helios's energy color is a little bit much, so I chose something really muted. See, if you pick like something kind of bright, it's just like, it's a little bit too much. So I picked something really washed out, so I'll show you the colors for all that. That's that. And again, this is meant to be like a much more muted Helios, and if you don't like that, then I don't know. I think base Helios looks pretty good, but I just wanted something a bit more muted. These are all the same colors, they're just moved to different places. This is still that energy color. And that's Helios. And with our dear Helios, I showed Inaros. So I'll show you that. Now, this is a customization I've sort of been knocking around on my channel for a long time. So if you're familiar with it and you feel like you've seen it before, I did actually change it a bit, so here it is. Not sure I've ever actually covered it directly. This color is an elusive sort of purplish red that is found on the Storm palette, only here. Basically, like, this is red, clearly red, and then this is black, but right here is briefly purple. So, super cool color, kind of interesting. And then this is Orokin white. Big difference between this and pure white, so I'll show you the smoke colors. See that pure white, whereas this Orokin white is kind of like dirty. So that's pretty nice, pretty important difference. These are both pure black from smoke to create all these lines on his body everywhere. And then this energy color is a washed out green from the Halloween palette. There are lots of dupes you could use for that, but this one is very washed out, makes him look kind of haunted. That was sort of the goal here. Now I showed the canopic helmet in the video, but personally I've decided after giving it a chance for a little while that I really do prefer the Anubis helmet. I like the canopic helmet from the front, but the Anubis helmet has this nice little ring on the back that really adds to the unity of the frame's look. Like, the canopic helmet he's got too much of a neck, you know? And that little ring really gives it more unity, so I prefer the Anubis helmet, but do what you will. Here are the cosmetics. They're the Dendra, to give you sort of this like haunted like aura, and then the Telos Sandana, which fits very well here. Another really good Sandana if you are interested. I recently put the Masaru on him. That looks really good, fits nicely between his shoulder parts. But yeah, so a very nice customization. Beautiful. Now we will move on. I'm not quite done with this, I'm not quite happy with it yet, but I've been working on this sort of like Pumpkin King looking Inaros. So I'll really briefly show you the colors for that. It's this tan from Orokin, pitch black, this orange from Shamrock. I actually find this is better than the Halloween oranges. Pure white, and this energy color is from Katir. Here are the accessories. I think I'm going to swap around the colors for the accessories a little bit, but I really like the idea of having like a spooky looking Inaros. I really like how the canopic helmet looks if you put a bright color on this tertiary, because then it's like you can see the teeth and stuff. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that really quick. Moving right along, we have Ash from Smoke Shadow Augment Ash. So, for this appearance, I'm using the Koga skin, and if you look at the Koga skin just like by itself, it's very intense. There's a lot of metallics, multiple metallics, and they're very bright, very pretty metallics, but very intense. And I feel like it's just a little bit too much. It's a little bit overwhelming and kind of gaudy, so I decided to go for a much more muted appearance. So we have a nice, handy, sandy Orokin color. Orokin, one of the veteran palettes on this channel, and some nice Grenier colors, another color palette I use a lot. And pitch black. This is this metal color, so see if that were not pitch black. Super overwhelming. Obviously this is a bad color for it anyway, but like, I'll show you gold. Like, see, that's way too much. Rose gold might be a little better. It's a little better, but not really, you know? So you really do want something dark, and I actually decided to go all the way for black, and I really like it. And here is this swampy green, Grenier, lots of dupes for this. And the energy color, which is sort of a washed out yellowy orange. Now, some people might be interested in the use of the Prime helmet with the Koga skin, i.e. not the Koga helmet, but I just really don't like the Koga helmet. It's a little small. I don't like how these tails color. I don't think they color very well. I just prefer the Prime helmet. I really like these little tassels. I really like this ponytail thing. I think it looks good with the Nasaru back especially. And I don't know, I just think the Prime helmet is really good, and I think it goes pretty well with the skin. It fits pretty well into the skin. So, I don't know, that's just my opinion, but I really don't think it's such a big deal. A lot of people seemed a bit offended that I mixed them together, but I think it looks kind of good. Decide for yourself. Lastly, a Vauban fashion frame has been requested. This was not featured this week, but I often include things that people have requested or just things I've been working on throughout Fashion Frame Fridays, and this is one of them for this week. So somebody asked for Vauban Prime. This is my current Vauban Prime. I'm going for like a cold looking theme, like a little bit more metally, a little bit less warm. A lot of the golds make you look kind of warm, so I was experimenting with this color, this accent color here, which is Twilight. And technically this is a shade of green, but which you can see, just made it darker, so you can see it's green. But a really light version of it looks like kind of a cold metal, like maybe a little bit oxidized, or just like a weird iron or really dim gold, you know? And I really like that. It lets you add a bit of coldness to the frame instead of making it more warm by adding a gold color. See, that makes it warm, adds a little bit of warmth. I want something more cold, so I did that to sort of play into his engineering theme. Here's that Oricon tan again that I always use, inverted from normal Vauban Prime, who's very dark. I wanted to make a bright but cold looking Vauban Prime. So there's that. This is pure black, smoke color, super handy. This is from Katir. This is this bluish color on the body. Looks almost like a black, but it's a bit lighter and makes a big difference. And then this energy color is a very muted Katir color. So now this is very bright because you want to be able to see where Vauban's effects are, but the Katir palette's perfect for this. These colors are bright still, but they're not oversaturated. They're not like shiny. They don't have a lot of light to them, so you can still see things very clearly, but you're not blinding everyone, and that's really important for Vauban's Bastilles, or no one's going to be able to see what's going on. Very painful on the eyes. If you're going to use a bright color, definitely use something more muted. Try to find something muted. If you don't have Katir palette, maybe look in Grenier. A lot of these colors are like not super saturated, like this is very visible, but not too bright, so that's very good. I would recommend something like that. The attachments for that. Colors in the same place. We got the Eos shoulders, which fit very nicely into there, right? We got the Edo, Porta, and this is the Solstice Katir sign data, which takes that nice little bit of metallic blue. I think it's kind of nice. Pretty good. Lots of good sign datas for Vauban, though. Anyway, there you are. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fashion Frame Fridays. I will hope to see some of you on the stream this weekend. Details of that are in the description if you're interested. And if you did not yet see my other video today about Shamrock free-to-play Rhino fashion frame, you should go check that out. That'll be right on the screen. Check it out if you like. And I hope that you all had a nice St. Patrick's Day. See y'all next time.